All right, guys, today I want to talk about why you should be using no wrist on your serve. Now, I know there's some videos out there of, snapping the wrist, but for me, a lot of that stuff is done with a neutral wrist. So if I snap the racket like this, my wrist is still quite neutral. There might be a little bit of play in it, but it's usually neutral. Now, even if it's going to benefit you to use it a little bit, practicing serving without using any wrist is going to really help you to get the sound, solid fundamentals of the service motion. So you can see here, my wrist doesn't do anything. All I'm doing is rotating my arm, supinating, pronating my arm through the shot. Sometimes I do demonstrations with this tube and it's the same thing. If I'm going to move this around smoothly, there's no wrist being used here. All right, so if I do a couple of serves, again, wrist is just going to be in this neutral position throughout the entire motion. All right, so even if I do a bit of slice or some topspin, let me slice one here. And some topspin. I'm still keeping my wrist neutral. Now, obviously, there's gonna come a point where if I go really hard, I'm gonna move it a little bit. All right, it's always gonna move a little bit, but just to develop sound fundamentals or to iron out some of the weird flaws you might have developed, just try and serve with a neutral grip, neutral wrist, sorry. Someone like Roger Federer, his wrist is very neutral throughout the entire serve. Now, that's not to say that using a lot of wrist, like someone like Kyrgios, where the wrist is really active, is wrong. This is just a little bit of advice for you to maybe improve your serve if you're having a few problems. For me, I really don't use much of my wrist for any shot, but I have had wrist injuries before, and that's kind of part of the reason that I don't use my wrist. But I found that maybe because of my wrist injuries, I've actually developed quite nice pronation. And even on my kick serve, I'm able to pronate the racket, pronate my arm pretty easily because I don't rely on my wrist. So I think just by not using my wrist, it's actually helped my ability to be able to pronate the arm. Whereas a lot of people end up trying to hit, create their spin from doing a lot of stuff with the wrist. So even though my wrist is not injured anymore, I still don't use it. I don't feel like it's necessary. And obviously, if I'm trying to, as I said earlier, if I'm trying to hit the biggest serve I can, there will be a little bit of play. But see if you can hit some serves without using any wrist, and you'll start to develop really smooth sound fundamentals if you're able to do that. Hope that helped. Talk to you soon.